As a beekeeper, I try to observe my bees with everything they do, try to understand their behavior, and then I can work with them. I try to be able to predict what they're going to do, so then when I, work with them, then I can kind of set them up in a way which avoids problems. So you can see in this yard, we have 1,200 hives in this yard, and so drift becomes an issue. And I've been able to manage the drift very well. As you can see, my truckload set out 144 hives, and I set them out in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops in this yard. And they're to the west and the east, okay? And then I have a couple to the north and south on the other side of the yard. The drift, you would think the prevailing wind is this way, going to the east. Now you'd think the drift would go down the line to those end ones, those end hives. But what's going on is in each one of these drops, it's these 4 hives which are catching the drift. The 4 hives on the southwest corner of each one of my drops. So you can kind of see they're catching a little bit of drift there. And in these particular 4, these 3, like these 2 and that yellow one, have caught the drift, but that blue one over there hasn't hardly caught any. So why that is, I don't know. But in each one of my setouts here, it's these 4 hives on every row that are catching the drift. And I thought it would be completely backwards. I thought the wind would be blowing them to the east to catch a drift on the east, but these hives are catching the drift on the other side, and I'm not sure exactly why. For all the hives here and all the rows that's going on, it's always these 4 on the southwest side of each one of my drops. So if anybody has any ideas about that, let me know. Like the prevailing wind is blowing the bees that way, but they're drifting on the southwest corner on that side. So that has something to do with the layout. I understand that. Catching the corners. But for the most part, my first assessment through, and we got through with the medication now, so I was able to take a second peek, and our assessments are pretty close, so there's not a lot of drift between colonies. So I'm happy that way. So if I only get about 25 or 30 colonies that catch just a little bit extra drift, that's no big deal. I'm going to use these colonies to boost some of my weaker ones. And we're going to be doing that this weekend, and I'll show you how we do that. So anyways, looking back at setting this yard out, so far it's been a success. We were working bees all day today. We had a northwest wind coming in, and I have a ravine just to the west there. The wind was dropping and the ravine swirling and then shooting over top of the trees. We could hear the wind all day, and we weren't really bothered with the wind within the yard here. So this is a nice little spot to tuck these hives in. Allowed us to get our work done, and the hives, it was a 24-degree day. The hives were in full flight and foraging all day through that wind. So this yard, I think, as long as I can get into it next year and the years ahead, I think I might try to poke the bees into here. So anyways, I'm starting to move hives out. I want to get these big ones out into my summer yards. That pollen is just about to start to flow, so I want to pounce on that as soon as it comes. So I got a lot of work ahead of us to do that. But the bees are still in full flight. It's almost 8 o'clock already, and I just want them to settle down a little bit before I actually start moving. It's one of my favorite moments of beekeeping, just listening to the bees work. Sometimes I don't do that enough because we get so busy with work and problems and everything else, keeping guys busy. Just standing here and listening to that healthy buzz. It's what makes this business worth it.